pledge allegiance to the flag of the States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty, we got that going. It's recording. It's recording audio. Okay. All righty, pledge of allegiance, public comment. Peter Sheridan.
I went over to the auditorium and had to get the plumber in there to do some work. You know, I'm just freaking out at what's going on in there. As far as I'm concerned, if Carpe Diem doesn't get that crap out of there by next Wednesday, I'm locking the building up. Nobody can use it. It's such a fire hazard. I don't know who allows them to bring this stuff in there. You know that anything touches the stage has to be fireproof. Nothing's fireproof. Nothing. We don't have an alarm system. It's filled with crap. The auditorium. There's Dan is building stuff in there in the back. Are you doing that, Dan? That's totally illegal. I want you putting a nail in the building.
What's
That has
Dan?
nothing to do with me.
He's not a carpenter.
No,
You have to address the board, Cecilia.
Well,
You have to address the board.
The work was being done in there without a building permit. They're putting stuff on the stage that's tough. I mean, that's how I feel. If Carpe Diem doesn't get that crap out of there, I'm gonna lock the building up. And I don't think the board can stop me.
So I sent some things as the auditorium committee, and I have a lot of issues with what's going on. And I have some answers as to who is allowing things to happen. Unofficial answers, I would like it from the horse's mouth. But I'm in agreement with you that there's a lot of very sketchy things happening in that auditorium at this moment in time. On top of the sound booth, there is currently a handrail that is not legally a handrail, it is a curtain. And they are allowing children up there, they're allowing people up there. They're using a village ladder to access that rooftop space illegally. It is a OSHA violation, the way they're using the ladder, it is not safe.
I have a list of mile long violations in there, and I blame Carpe Diem. They're in the business, they know that you can't. It's on the set, yeah, they know this stuff.
I brought it up last year multiple times that what they did on that top for their lighting and all that stuff on top of that sound booth is unsafe. It is not. There's no building permit. It's physically screwed to the structure. So if somebody were to fall off of that, because it's physically screwed to the structure, it is a village issue, not a Carpe Diem issue.
They've got poles going 30 feet in the air, I can lean on them, and they're that big long metal pole, and they come right down, they kill somebody.
Let me insert myself here.
Okay,
You need a meeting in the auditorium with a Carpe Diem official. Who is going to schedule that meeting?
I will.
The auditorium director needs to get
the only
involved.
time I did not
Didn't
say,
ask that. Said who is going to schedule that meeting?
I can.
Yeah,
I will do.
I think a lot of these issues are stemming from a lack of flow of communication in both directions, and I think there needs to be an opening of. So, because I'm sure if there was things that they were made aware of, that they would endeavor to. I don't think that they're just running willy-nilly.
I think.
I think
No, I think
I
David,
think you're attributing,
Scheduling the meeting,
Yeah.
if everyone's gonna be there, then that discussion will be had.
I think that's the best thing to do.
And
I
give it-
do know Carpe Diem does ask a lot of questions to certain people, but I think certain people that they. ask
That's what I'm going.
Are the wrong people,
And that's-
which was the same thing that happened
That's
last year.
exactly.
get
I think-
me the list.
They know, they're in the theater business, they know that you can't have, everything has to be fireproof on stage, that nothing's fireproof. Nothing, none of their sets are fireproof, they know this, otherwise they should be in the theater business, we shouldn't have them.
I think there's been issues with communication, and I think
It's
it
not a
getting,
communication issue,
I-
it's-
well, I believe it is a communication issue. That's my opinion.
If-
What I think needs to happen is, Jason, you get it with, David, somebody from Carpe Diem, Peter should be involved, and everybody sit down and get on the same page. Because right now, people are not talking. I mean, have you talked to Carpe Diem at all?
I've never talked.
That's what I'm saying. So there's okay, so there's a communication issue there. Is David Straight keeping in regular communication with the board in terms of what they're doing with the?
No.
So there's a communication issue there. So everybody needs to get in the same room. We'll all sit down, take the temperatures down a little bit.
Yeah, let's to diffuse the whole thing.
Yeah.
This is happening the last 5 years, okay?
Yeah.
And once again, this is not about the program that they're running. RPM runs a great program. I think it's gotten a little too big. I think it needs to be chiseled down. There's a lot of things that I would like to add to, suggest what we can do for next year. I honestly think the last 2 years of directors, we're paying a director, $14,000 the total, okay? I honestly think, as far as the last 2 years, we really were not in need of a director. I know that, Jason might give a report on having some kind of subcommittee, and I would suggest just to try out for next year. Obviously, it's too late this year. We haven't, there's so many things that have been overlooked.
Yeah.
Just like they were last year. Suggest to make some kind of a subcommittee where we could take people, me growing up in this village, the board, we usually had people that were in charge of certain things. Jason in charge of the auditorium, he's in charge of parks, so to form, either have a board member have a subcommittee, not necessarily to have to be the president of subcommittee, at least an ex officio of one. Bring an ex officio whenever it may be free, because they have a lot of input through the board. Okay, we're working towards the same thing. Within that board, I think we could handle everything the director handles better than it's been handled so far in the last year.
I agree with you.
If you want to pay board members to do something, we could pay 5 board members $1,000 a piece and still undercut $9,000 from our budget. I think that you could get people that are interested in it. I think that you could have somebody holding on just on part PM, so we make sure that it's getting back to the board. If you have an access issue, you have somebody from the board bringing that to the board. Okay, this is what's going on. Make sure things get done. We have a contract right now. Everybody sit down and talk about the contract. Bring somebody in from CarpDM and have them sit down at this table during your meeting and figure this out before it's 2 days before we have to sign a contract. Last year, I looked at the contract from last year. The last year's contract for CarpDM was signed on July 29th, after the fact. So things are being absolutely terribly overlooked, and that needs to change. I don't think that once again, I don't want to put the whole blame on CarpDM, but they do, and I have talked to people from CarpDM. I went over and confronted. I asked Gary if I could do a walkthrough on the 21st of May, because I know they were leaving stuff behind. I wanted to be there and say, hey, this is supposed to come out. But you have somebody on the other side like, hey, you mind if we keep this in here? It's basically walking over somebody. You mind if I keep, no, so it should be a big deal. Just put it in the corner and we'll put a curtain around it. You can't do that. I think if we had a board of people, we had somebody that was assigned just for that position alone, RPM, or that, then they can say, listen, let me bring it to the board. Let's see what we can do for this. I honestly think that everything should come out. When you're doing a production, and in any kind of a building, you come into the production, you don't leave your stuff behind. If you're gonna go to a Proctor's and you do a production, you fill the set, you don't leave your set there. It's.
Permission was, so what's happened here, in my opinion, is we have given we've created the position of auditorium director, and we've empowered that person who has that role to make decisions as the auditorium director. And then we have told folks who are negotiating with the village to do auditorium programming that the auditorium director is the point of contact. And then when the auditorium director gives that person, says, hey, it's okay if you do this or okay if you do that, they take it at face value as that person acting under authority from the village. And that meanwhile, the village is not aware of it. The code enforcement officer is not aware of it. Lots of people are not aware of it. And then this causes, and again, I'll bring it back to a lack of communication here, which is what's causing a lot of these issues. So I totally agree. I absolutely agree with everything you're saying. I think this needs to be tightened up big time because it's going to continue to cause friction between, the folks who want to see the auditorium treated as it should be treated, which is a National Historic Landmark, but also, lived in and have programming and exciting stuff for kids and families and residents of the village. So,
What I'm saying is, as you're building a subcommittee,
yeah,
and that even with
There already is a committee.
I
There is, and
So
yeah,
as your committee, but I'm confused on the committee, because I know you put the subcommittee, had Eric and.
That was a ad hoc committee because of all the donations that were happening and
Okay,
just to make sure that was all tied together.
so.
Now we have a standing committee
Okay.
with official documentation, and one of the things I'm going to do tonight is I'm gonna, there are two people that I'm going to mention, one as the co-chair and one as a committee member. The village board is technically supposed to vote on those individuals and approve them for the board or for the committee. And we're starting the process of having an actual standing committee, not an ad hoc committee, but a standing committee that provides reports. And we're gonna look into literally every aspect of that auditorium to determine what is in the best interest of the village. How are we going to maintain the auditorium? It needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of work.
Absolutely.
How are we going to get that work done? What are the tools that we have? There's a lot of things that we're gonna look at as a committee. We're gonna look at we're gonna look at the contracts. How are they written? What is the director allowed to do or not do? What should they be allowed to do or not do?
in the, sorry.
It's like all of them, we're gonna look at it from top to bottom. We're gonna leave no page unturned in the committee, looking at the master plans.
You are the person who's gonna staff that committee, correct?
Yes, I'm
Is
working
that
on
gonna
that.
be done by next month?
Currently, right now, Danielle Rigney, is willing to be the co-chair and, I don't have the paper on me. Robert Kincaid, agreed to be on the committee full-time.
Do you think we can get the other?
I'm hoping for 6 to 8 people, if anybody wants to.
I thought we had talked about ex officio members, like the head of AARP
Yeah.
over here.
Scott Rigney is already an ex officio for AP3.
And Mr. Pesca,
Mr. Pesca is an ex officio. And then,
did you ask him or can you tell him?
And I'd like to address this to you, Tom. I'll meet with Carpe Diem to go over what they're doing. The building code is not negotiable. That stuff has to get out. This is not negotiable.
It needs to be made clear that when it comes to code issues,
Yeah,
you have the right to direct them.
right. This is not something that we can negotiate.
No.
It has to be added.
But everybody needs to get together in the very near future, not everybody, but
We're gonna kick this down the road too long. There's no alarm system in there. There's no.
We went through this last year. I thought there were 2 alarms that were put in, even though they weren't wired in.
correct,
They were battery-
but they were battery operated smoke detectors that were put in, and they go to Eric Leach's stuff. They don't go to anywhere in the village.
You need a fire alarm system, not smoke alarm. You need poles at every door.
If only there were an expert in here, we could ask.
Yeah, if only there was an expert of all sorts of fire knowledge, not here. We have an existing system, I think we just need to revive.
Yeah.
I need to get a hold of Honeywell and get somebody here to go through the system. I think it's a matter of taking our existing system, doing a small upgrade, replacing some devices, bringing it to code. I don't think it's going to be as big of a.
I think it is, has to go to the fire department. When a red bottle's in there.
Let me get someone that has a hose company on your committee.
This is what the code calls for.
It-
I'm gonna make it meet code, not something that, it brings, big shit.
Yes,
It has to be
it would be
effective.
it would have to be a 24/7 monitored
Right.
system. One of the issues is it has to be done with beam detectors up in the peaks. And if we can't get it bird and rodent safe, there's gonna be a million alarms. Because
I
if
don't care about being, I want pull stations at every door. That's all I want.
that's a code requirement.
As a business, I have to by code have this exact system. It's not hard, it's not expensive, and there's a local company in Boston Lake that will do it. So if you need a referral, I'm glad to give you this information. I've had 2 systems installed and they're not that big of a deal. I do have a yearly maintenance fee. They come, they clean my sensors, they give me up-to-date fire extinguishers. they keep me at code for like $350 a year.
What's the,
I also am directly connected to the fire department, if the alarm goes off and if there's any firemen here, they've had that happen in my place once. It directly calls them, I have a dedicated phone line that goes right out, if there's an alarm, it goes right to the fire department.
The huge difference is your facility is actually easy to monitor because it's square and flat, essentially. The problem with.
I'm saying, get the expert out.
Yeah, yes.
That's
The
the
problem with
Yeah.
the auditorium is, I'm very familiar with the code.
That, but. I'm just
In the
saying,
mean,
it's
that,
possible.
these are all, in the short term though, everybody needs to get together, and decide what, I mean, this, it sounds like there was stuff left over from May that, is that basically what's going, like, materials?
There's a ton of stuff.
We need to work on it. But I'm concerned with, all the crack.
Yes, right, so that's what needs to be done.
And in my auditorium report, that is something that I mentioned, is there's just crack everywhere.
But we're talking about it, we need action, that building's gonna go
We're gonna
on
meet.
fire.
We're gonna meet,
Let me
right?
tell you, people are sneaking in there all the time, the building's gonna go on fire.
So you're gonna reach out to Carpe DM, or we're gonna have Davis reach out to Carpe DM.
I will.
You will reach out to Carpe, okay, good, done.
All right, anybody have a happy comment?
Oh, yeah, my
Okay.
book is for sale, if anybody hasn't got it.
Yay,
He hasn't gotten a copy yet.
there's some for sale at Leah's.
You have a, Scott, do you have a permit to sell?
Do
you have a permit?
It's all close down. It's 7%, don't buy it on Amazon. Don't buy it on Amazon, don't buy it in Barnes.
Mr. Pesca.
yeah, I just would like to, make a comment and, Peter, I understand you're upset about what's going on there. I just wanted to say that me personally, I don't go in the building in the auditorium, that was a perfect even event. But I would like to just, as a data point, just to your point regarding getting approvals and so on to perform work in the building, I did get approached, during the Oliver production, they needed a lot of circuits for lighting, they brought in a big rental package of lighting equipment. And so I was approached by their production designer, can you add some receptacles on the subpan? And I said, I can't do that, but I'll text the auditorium liaison, Jason. I texted him and said, hey, you wanna put a quad box on a sub panel, asking me to do that? He said, no, it's gotta have board approval. So I held the line with Carpe Diem and I said, that's not gonna happen, you're gonna have to find another solution to do what you need to do, and they did.
I just want to keep your, let you know, any electrical work that's done in there has to be signed off by the electrical underwriter.
Yeah, we're aware of that.
You know that, you should know something.
Pretty much in everything, the one project where we had the, I don't know what the term you wanna call it, when we installed the fans and the post lights, was an agreement with the village and adjacent supervisory, and that was with the volunteers.
It's technically not finished yet, which is the only reason why the underwriter hasn't
We
been.
need an underwriter to sign off on anything electrical.
Yeah, that's correct, and Jason did that when he installed a
So we need to get an
sub.
underwriter,
So,
Yeah, that project of the fans that, all the volunteers kind of fell apart, and unfortunately, I don't have an unlimited amount of time to volunteer. So that project never actually got finished, so it hasn't been finished yet, which is why nobody called for.
but you use it, right?
I believe it is being used, yeah.
You can't use it without it being signed off by an underwriter. You need to do that.
Okay, does anybody have a comment that won't cause more problems? Judy,
Well, I'm not sure, but I would like to know the status of, the board's solution to the traffic gravel not watching.
we do not have one at the moment. Putting the temporary speed bump is on the schedule for the guys. I think once they're done replacing the culverts on Goldfoot Road, they'll do that. We're looking at permanent speed bumps too, with asphalt. So, with what? We haven't, our original plan was temporarily closing it because I was under the impression that we were replacing the culverts on Washington on your side, but we're not. So that put a damper on that, and
We're still looking into legality, how we can do that in a way that's kosher.
not everybody is on board,
There's some disagreement.
part of the problem, so.
If there's something residents on the avenue can do to help move it along, gather data.
We have the data, we know that cars go too fast and
And
trucks are too big and too many. So,
so that'll be one more question, that'll be when there's something's going to happen, it'll show up on an agenda.
yes. It's,
I think it's a good thing to bump back up again.
yeah. No pun intended.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, what's the status of painting parking spots in front of the auditorium?
that will be after the speed bumps. Oh wait, that should be, I told you it would be before the end of June, so I will remind John to get that done, because we have the striper, we have the paint. One of our guys is at water school training for the week, so we're down one. And striping.
That striping. Considering some of the residents there, they always lose their parking spot when there's a show, and I know on Kingsley Ave, they put resident only. Is that ever a possibility?
That's not legal.
Okay.
No. And again, I know I'm gonna sound, people are gonna hate me for saying this, but if you don't have parking on your house, you don't have parking. It's all public parking. I mean, it's annoying as all get out. I understand that, but that's just the way it is.
Oh.
And, oh, thought your hand was up.
Oh.
Suzanne,
Well, I just like to really request that we enforce the code violation at 9 Second Street. It violates New York State Fire.
yeah, that's on that was a walk-in item on the agenda for tonight, so.
She didn't hear you, Gary.
Oh, that was a walk-in item on the agenda tonight. I just got it today, so I didn't send it out. Is it time to adjourn?
No wonder Tom skipped tonight's meeting.
I know, really. That's it, okay. Superintendent's report, as I mentioned, they are busy putting, if you've driven down Goldfoot Road and Simpson. Never mind, I just got it here. Water drains are being replaced between Washington Ave at Curry and down Goldfoot Road, ending at Route 9. Please find alternate routes as needed. 3 drains are complete and 2 more are to be done. 3 water curb boxes had to be replaced. DPW is asking you to be mindful of water shutoff boxes at your locations. And also, we had an incident where a driveway was paved and they destroyed a couple of water valves. So, because a dig request was not put in. So if you are having work done, please make sure that your contractor knows that they have to do dig requests. And next item related, if you have renovation projects inside or outside, please speak to Code Inspector Peter Sheridan. Many projects do not require a building permit, but Peter can help you if there are setbacks or other helpful pointers. Mowing and weed whacking have kept them busy lately. Thank you for your patience with only Monday brush pickup. Friendly reminder to only put grass and shrub clippings in the bags. No garbage, no poison ivy or invasive weeds. And I never thought I'd have to say this, but no medical waste.
Yeah.
Griffin's Ridge storm drains have been approved and are ready for the village to take over. Oh. John Shafts can be reached at, it's on the board. Actually, I prefer people not calling him directly unless.
It's an emergency. I just kind of wrote it down.
Okay.
But for emergency.
Okay, but one thing I don't want is a lot of people calling
Yeah,
John and
no.
giving him. In emergencies, you can always get in touch.
Right.
Certainly with me, I can get you. Well, it's on, is it on the website?
It is.
I think it's on the website.
I think
Yeah,
it's
but
on the
just-
website, it's on our door. But yeah, he doesn't want people calling, he gets a lot of phone calls that.
Yeah, for example, we had a call, somebody emailed me Monday saying, what happened? You said Monday would be picked up. But they had to do something with the contractor with the culverts they're putting in, so they couldn't do pickup on Monday. So instead of having him bombarded by phone calls, get in touch with me and I can let you know what's going on. I don't want him answering his phone every 2 minutes over something that,
They've been busy these days.
Animal control and parking reports a number of tickets have been issued at the boat launch. We've had 9 last month due to vehicles parking in areas designated for boats with vehicles with boat trailers. Small and very busy boat launch. It's one of the busiest in the area.
The traffic is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Treasurer.
Let's sit for this one. Fiscal year end adjusting entries, the following budget adjustments are required at fiscal year end to eliminate overextended appropriations. These adjustments will be funded through a reduction in the unrestricted fund balance. The total reduction to UFB is $34,478. F8320, Act 40, source supply power pumping. $6,406, increase due to higher than budgeted electrical costs. This would be kind of a common theme. 80-90-50, TAC 8 unemployment insurance, 1,800. Increase required due to higher unemployment insurance expenditures. This might be my fault because I forgot to check a box, so we might get that one back. A1440, TAC 40, engineer contractual, 2,115. Increase required for payments to Lamont engineers related to roof repair services. A1325, TAC 4, treasurer contractual, $6,768. Increase required due to admin software support costs exceeding budgeted amounts. A1620, TAC 41, building contractual, $2,049. Increase required due to higher utility expenses. A5142, TAC 4, snow removal contractual, $6,492. Increase required due to elevated salt usage resulting from severe winter weather conditions. A1320, TAC 4, auditor contractual, $3,190. Increase required due to accounting firm expenditures exceeding budget levels. A7110, TAC 4, parks contractual, $601. Increase required due to higher utility costs. F8320, TAC 41, sort of power supply pumping, capital water project, $2,941. Increase required due to higher than anticipated water pumping costs. This had to do with the water pump repair. A910, TAC 8, state retirement, 1,817. Increase required due to state retirement expenses exceeding budgeted amounts. Bank to book adjusting entry, cash reconciliation adjustment.
Shall we do this first?
All right.
Shall we do this? Approve these first?
Oh, all right.
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve those adjustments as stated by the treasurer.
Second,
Discussion?
Yes.
Jason?
yes.
Yes.
During the fiscal year end review, the comprehensive reconciliation of the village's cash account was performed. It was determined that the bank reconciliations had not been done consistently completed in prior years, decades. Not completed at all. Resulting in a significant variance between the cash balance reported in the accounting records and the actual balances maintained by the bank. Historical records provided by the village prior to CPA did not contain sufficient documentation to support reconciled account balances.
and previous efforts by CHS and Edmunds, our accounting software support to complete the reconciliations were unsuccessful. As a result of the reconciliation process, an adjustment entry totaling $966,612.53 was required to reduce the general fund cash balance reported in the accounting system to the actual bank balance. This adjustment is necessary to accurately represent the village's financial position and ensure that the accounting records reflect verified cash balances as of fiscal year end. The adjustment will be charged to the unrestricted fund balance. It is important to note that the adjustment does not represent a current year expenditure operating deficit. Rather, it is a corrective accounting entry required to align the village's financial records with actual bank balances following the completion of the comprehensive cash reconciliation process. The treasurer recommends approval of this adjustment to establish an accurate and supportable cash position going forward and to provide a reliable foundation for future financial reporting and audit activities. Based on governmental accounting training and industry experience, situations of this nature are not uncommon among municipalities where historical reconciliations and supporting documentations have not been consistently maintained. When such conditions are identified, corrective accounting entries and reconciliation procedures are necessary to restore the accuracy and integrity of the financial records and establish a reliable foundation for future financial reporting. A simple way to think about this is to compare it to a personal checkbook. If someone stopped balancing your checkbook for several years, the balance shown in the check register may no longer match the actual balance in the bank account. Checks may have appeared, deposits may have been recorded incorrectly, or transactions may have been missed altogether. Until this account is reconciled, the individual cannot be certain how much money is actually available. Once the checkbook is finally balanced and compared to the bank statements, adjustments must be made to the register so that it reflects the bank's verified balance. While adjustment may appear significant, it does not necessarily mean much money was recently spent or lost. Rather, it is the correction required to bring the records into agreement with reality. The village's situation is similar because bank reconciliations have not been consistently performed in prior years. The cash balance reflected in the accounting records differed from the actual balance maintained by the bank. The adjusting entry was necessary to align the village's books with the verified bank balance and establish an accurate financial position moving forward. The remaining balance on the UFB after this entry was done is $252,064.51. After the fiscal year end closes, the balance will be approximately $114,000 higher. In addition, the village's balance sheet has been updated to properly reflect its reserve funds. Separate reserve fund balance accounts have been reconciled along with corresponding cash accounts to ensure that each reserve is fully supported by segregated cash balances. These cash accounts are maintained at the bank and represent funds that have been specifically set aside for their designated reserve purposes. Establishing these accounts provide greater transparency, strengthen internal financial controls, and ensure the reserve funds are readily identifiable and available should the board authorize their use in the future. Treasurer recommends approval of these adjustments and account structure changes as they establish an accurate and supportable financial position, improve accountability over village funds, provide a reliable foundation for future financial reporting, budgeting, and audit activity. Abstract claims. Treasurer is committed to June.
Hang on a second.
So you need a resolution to approve the account structural changes as outlined in that passage, including the adjustment to the unrestricted fund balance to reflect the actual fiscal health of the village. I think I made that resolution.
I'll second it.
Yeah.
Discussion?
I just, first of all, I want to thank Greg for all the hard work put into this. I think it's very
Had sleepless nights.
sleepless nights. This was not something that was easy, something not easy to do. Certainly, it puts us in a much clearer outlook moving forward. So I appreciate that especially from a budgeting perspective moving forward. We know exactly where we're at now. And again, it's for something that this had never been reconciled in the village is pretty incredible. So just appreciate the hard work you put into it. Thank you.
For a long time, I've wondered how our UFB got to be so big. I
Yeah,
said,
and,
how
and
is
the,
that so big?
and the other thing
I
I'll
could
say.
not understand it.
On the back end of that too, is that although the adjustments are obviously large, we're still in excellent fiscal shape. We have a UFB that's in line with what the comptroller does require, which is 2 to 3 months of operating expenses, and overall the health of the village is in good shape. And I think moving forward, again, this will give us a much clearer picture of how we're gonna budget moving forward. So thank you.
Also attached to the balance sheet, I put up all the bank account balances, and you can go through the balance sheet and you can see those balances. On either side, you see the cash and then you see the reserve.
Yeah.
So you can, that's how you can tell that everything is 100% there.
Cool.
All right, Matthew.
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Yes. On to the abstract.
The abstract of plan, treasurer has submitted the June abstract of plans for board approval. The abstract includes prepaid invoices for May as well as claims submitted during June. General fund A, $50,843.33. Water fund F, $1,657.07 for a total of $52,500.90.
Make a motion to approve the abstract as outlined by the treasurer.
Second.
Discussion? Yeah,
Yes.
Jason? Yeah. Chief?
Evacuated 42 alarms for 290 staff hours, brings the year-to-date totals to 213 alarms for just shy of 1,900 staff hours. Drill hours, 188 for the month, 1,258 for the year. Outside training hours is 90, 518 for year-to-date. Miscellaneous activities, 289 for the month, just shy of 1,200 for the year. Total year-to-date hours is 4,900 staff hours. Some upcoming items, we do plan to have a truck for the night of illumination on 27th. They have in the past. I've also submitted a grant request to a private foundation through the host company. Applying for just shy of $30,000 for a drone. Started a drone program for fire department. And construction of the replacement engine tankers ongoing, probably September or so before construction is completed.
Thank you. CEO?
Most projects in the village are moving very slowly, like they're moving along. We had a fire inspection of the Inn and Round Lake. They failed. We had another inspection, they failed. We gave them till July 15th to get their act together, and as of July 15th, if they fail again, we call sheriff and everybody has to move out. I'm also having issues with Lakewood Restaurant. There are dumpsters left open for months. They never close it. The stench is, now that the weather's hot, it stinks back there. And so I'm gonna start ticketing them every night that dumpster is left open. I don't know if it's gonna be effective, but it's really murder on all the residents that live close by. It works with the bill. Serial ticket. Yeah, and also I found them, now they're nailing signs to the trees behind the restaurant. Because they had their driveway sealed and they don't want their employees to come in that way, so just nail signs up to the big trees back there.
Is that their driveway or is that a paper street?
What?
Isn't that a paper street?
No, it's not public.
Well, I mean,
It's not, it never was a paper street, it's always been. part
but
of the block.
does it belong to Lake Ridge is what I'm asking?
No,
Oh, and they paved it?
no, they resealed their driveway, and they don't want their employees to drive over their new resealed.
Oh,
property.
I see.
So they put nail signs to the trees,
Gotcha.
directing them to go the other way. The stench from back there is horrendous. I've told them numerous times, they don't care, they don't, you know. So I'm gonna start going after them, giving them tickets every night they do it. So I just wanna keep you updated that we may be closing the inn and, I'm gonna go after Lakewood Restaurant.
He's on a roll.
Yeah. They're gonna run me out of town.
You're on a roll tonight.
Yeah, right.
I want you to go with me.
On request, resolution authorizing Peter and me, if it's necessary, to commence a New York State Supreme Court action to enforce the issue of, failing the fire code. Because you said, I'll call the sheriff, if the sheriff won't do anything, okay? Not, and that's absolutely unheard of, if the sheriff wouldn't do something. But in that event, that we would then have the authority to commence an action and, get an injunction to, shut down the inn temporarily.
All I think about is the fire in the public buildings connected a couple of years ago, when the building inspector said, the alarm system was too complicated, so I didn't look at it. It didn't work, he went to jail. I don't wanna go to jail. I want them to meet code.
What would that resolution sound like?
For someone to move a resolution authorizing me to commence Supreme Court action on behalf of part of the village under the, advice of the, code enforcement officer to enforce the, fire code, with respect to the,
I like that better than policy.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
No, I
Matt?
think it absolutely makes sense. So yes.
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 I was just gonna ask a question, that's only if needed. Like if it gets
Right,
complied and they
right.
respond to the letters, we're putting the resolution in place so you can act, so you don't
As
have
if they
to
failed
meet
it.
with the board again.
it gives Peter the op.
Right.
It's a much better
Clarify.
option than going to the sheriff.
And I guess since we're here, I might as well bring up the second one. We have a deck that's been built. I guess within 3 inches of one property. And actually over the border of 2 other properties. And it's been that way since at least the fall of last year. Efforts to resolve that issue have not worked out. The owner is Judith Trier. And I would like similar authority to go to court if it's necessary to obtain an injunction to move that deck back. And that being said, I finally actually caught up with her. She walked into the office the other day and has indicated that she will seek the necessary area variance. I told her that I was going to ask for this authority tonight, but that if she got a completed application for an area variance submitted by the 1st of July, that Peter and I would not exercise that authority. But it's gone on so long that I request a similar resolution with respect to enforcing the village code with respect to that property. Do you know the number of the street address?
Number 9, isn't it?
Yeah, 9 seconds.
Is that the yellow? Is a
Yeah,
yellow house? Is it a is it? I walked by the other day. Is it a porch or a deck?
A deck in the back.
Deck in the back of that. So it's on the Asbury side of.
well, there's a house behind it.
Okay.
And it was actually built.
I got
touching
you.
the house.
I got
Actually
you.
moved it
I
back
got
a
you.
couple inches.
Okay. That's why I couldn't.
So it has to be 3 feet.
That's why I couldn't see it because there's another house behind it. Okay. I was trying to understand it. And it's a brand new deck. It's not a replace. It's
No, it's,
Brand new.
Yeah.
I told you, you gotta get a building permit.
Yeah.
to Do these
Yeah.
things.
okay. I'll make a motion to authorize the village attorney second to do as he stated.
That sufficient?
Yes.
Okay, discussion? Matt?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Yes.
Words are not coming out of my mouth.
I'll note that she is coming into my office on Friday morning to. One of the main things is she needs a drawing with distances between buildings and the deck and the neighbors and the borders and so forth. She's coming in, and then after we're done, I'm going to her residence and taking photographs so that the ZBA will be able to see photographs if indeed we do have a complete application, which is the goal.
Got it.
All right, we're still on reports, huh? Auditorium committee.
So we had our last meeting, I don't have the notes in front of me, didn't think from them out. But we had our last meeting last. Was that Wednesday? Well, we had our first meeting last week. I would like to, make a recommendation to the village board to bring Danielle Rigney on as co-chair and Rob Kincaid as a committee member. I believe in the committee guidelines, it states that they have to be voted in by the village board to sit on the committee.
Should Dan and Scott and
They were listed in that as being ex officios.
in the
In
resolution
the
created? Okay,
resolution. Not so much Dan, but Dan knows everything about the auditorium.
so Dan should be added to this.
He should be added to the ex officio list.
What are you calling that?
Ex officio,
Ex officio.
so they're not
Non-voting.
non-voting members of the committee.
So it's just Danielle and Rob that were
At this,
as Danielle as co-chair.
correct, at this moment in time, I'm hoping to have 6 to 8 people on the committee. There is a lot of work that
1, 2,
is going to need to be
3.
done.
So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And counting you.
3, because the ex officios are non-voting members.
He wants to have 6 voting members.
6 voting
6
members.
to 8 voting members.
Gotcha. Democracy, huh?
Ah. You made a motion to approve those.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I'll second.
Discussion?
Yes,
Jason?
Yes.
Yes. And thank you for volunteering.
thank you.
And so if Matt's making the motion.
Jason made it, I seconded it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So. During our meeting, we took a visual, look around the whole auditorium, and we noted that there's several animal holes in the building, there's a lot of paint that needs to be put back on, there's a lot of potential spots that wood needs to be replaced before painting it. There's a lot of work that the building needs to keep viable for the next 50, 100 years. We also noticed, and I mentioned it earlier in the meeting, that Carpe Diem installed a railing above the sound booth. There was never anything brought to the board allowing that structure to be put up there. The building inspector did not improve it because it is clearly not safe, it is very dangerous. It's a curtain on a 2x4. And a legal railing needs to have a board space, is it 6?
That's minor,
That-
compared to the other stuff.
But
Basically, there's 50 things that are.
Yeah, but this was one of the big glaring things that I seen right walking in without getting into the weeds. All the stuff I mentioned earlier, the village ladder that's being used improperly, the TV that was permanently mounted there.
Who did that?
It had to be,
Yeah, come on, yeah. Let's not rehash
But-
stuff that has already been talked about too.
but just overall, the consensus is we need to take more accountability of the auditorium. We need to grab the reins and get everything back into a line and get it more into a situation in a position where it's benefiting the village as a whole and not a non-for-profit company. Is kind of the big takeaway. It is. And we also noted that if there's just stuff there's just stuff literally everywhere. So, and that's something that we wanna work towards getting it cleaned up, making it so that way anybody who rents the space, it's the same space for everybody. And it's also, I think my personal opinion is the auditorium is a village community center first. It's for the village. And then all of anybody else who wants to use it, rent it, second. And I think we've steered away from village first, and we're focusing on everybody else second. And if we're gonna continue to pay a lot of money to have an auditorium director and all this stuff, it needs to benefit the community. The most important thing is it has to benefit the community first.
There's been dozens of Round Lake children that have gone through Carpe Diem.
20,
I'm not saying that Carpe
20,
doesn't.
I mean, just
Yeah.
to be
I'm not
fair,
saying Carpe Diem
20% of
Carpe
their,
Diem is a Great program.
But I've just, in order to balance this out a little bit, I think there's opinions that differ about this. We had a workshop about this before
Yep.
Eric left, and I think everybody expressed their
The,
opinions.
the Carpe Diem program,
Yeah.
their summer program is a great program.
Right,
It's the growth outside of that program and the overwhelming takeover of the auditorium.
that's your opinion.
It's my opinion.
yeah, right, run, run.
So,
Okay,
thanks.
okay. AP3,
Yes. We are actually, working on more placards, like the one we put out in the, with Labyrinth, there's, here where the old school was, on Old School Hill. I think it looks nice. I think that I see people looking at it when I'm going by. It's kind of a cool thing. I don't think it's an eyesore. I haven't heard anything negative about it. So, we have 3 other ones designed. That next board meeting, I'll have actual pictures of. I think we had 4, and I thought maybe it'd be better to just go down to 3 and combine 2 areas. We're probably gonna, like I said, I'll bring that to the board before. I'd like to get kind of a larger order to see if maybe we can get a discount from the same company before we do it. There's been mention from Wordless to actually join with us to help finance, and they're looking for something to spend their money on also, which is great. The last time we put in, we didn't ask any help from the village at all. I don't think that we need to do that again, here. So, that's one that we're actually working on. I'll bring to the board, before, so you can approve them before we go ahead and order more. We had worked with the tree committee also. I mentioned before, we were just basically gonna put placards up and explain what was in the area, and like the museum and the school. And, the tree committee also wanted to name the parks. So we're trying to chisel it all down so we don't have a park name, just plaque and too many signs. So we're kind of consolidating all into one sign and put all the information on the one placard. Outside of that, if there are some small, I think they're kind of interested in maybe putting small signs of some of the small parks in the village, we got, Orient Park will probably have a sign, but, some of the ones that are like Scott Park, there's 100 parks around the village. If they want to do that, we also want to kind of get together with them and try to make it all one order, so we can get it on it. And also we're continuing to work towards the barbecue fundraise benefit. I'm gonna have my first meeting with Danielle Maslowski. She's another one of the coordinators. To be with us around the barbecue fundraiser. That's September 12th. And we have our vanilla barbecue pit, which is they're around the Pose area. They're coming in, they wanted to do a 200 person minimum. I think we had about 165 people last time, so I'm just calling with the 200. They're giving us a pretty good deal. We'll be able to keep the price down to what we had last year. So we're just looking at another good, fun, hopefully rainless event. Cool. And that's it. Are you ready to put that on the auditorium website too? Not yet.
okay, clerk. You looking for this, Susan?
Sorry, I get overwhelmed writing and keeping up. So, food pantries are high in demand these days. Please only put in non-perishable items, no fresh bread, snow, things like that, just, it gets messy. If the baskets are full, I will take them up. A reminder that Round Lake requires vendor permits to be obtained for soliciting. If anyone knocks on your door trying to sell something, ask them to present their permit or ask them to leave, with the exception of political candidates running for office. Summer Little League Baseball is, up for we're doing like I guess it's I don't know if it's a summer camp they usually do spring into the end of June, and then they do fall, but they're doing, a summer program this year. So I think they're still taking signups. The boat launch closes at 9:30 until sunrise. It's more for safety and encouraging patrolling after hours. Tax and water bills have been sent out. If you haven't received one, or if you don't think your escrow company has received one, please look into it. And they are due back June 30th. Got the books and the lanterns that are available in the village office. And Saratoga County Summer Youth Program will begin next week. DPW has got some kids working with them, and we've also got somebody working in the village office this year. I'm kind of excited about that. And I have no extra messages for Oz and Amy at the post office at this time. Thank you.
Okay, tree committee.
Tree Committee monthly report, June 17th, was this year. The committee is continuing to work with Saratoga Associates on the Urban and Community Forestry Grant. 2 arborists from More Trees Arborist Collective are putting together an estimate for trees that need pruning. The work will take place over the next 4 to 8 weeks. Molly Stamel has begun to water the newly planted trees around the village once or twice a week using the village golf cart. Members of the tree committee are watering the gardens at the corner of Barn Alley and Burlington. And we want to thank Terry and Rachel Conrad for letting us use their water. Arborist Jeff Stetch pruned around 20 to 25 smaller trees. We're waiting on his report of the specific work that was performed. Rob Farbra and Mark Marion attended a 3-hour pruning workshop at Landis Arboretum. I can't get that word down. Landis Arboretum, so they can perform tree pruning tasks that don't require a lift or climbing. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Parks and Rec, we have, through Saratoga Associates, our grant writer, submitted an application for New York Places for Learning, Activity, and Youth Socialization called New York Plays for which one?
250,000.
250,000, focusing on Baker Park, which is Sunny Park. And it has a shade structure, some teen and adult exercise equipment, some replacement of swing sets, some accessible swings equipment. And it includes the rubberized
New surfacing.
new surfacing underneath that. So we actually met with the grant writer today to discuss a couple other grants. One grant they're working on, looking at, is for the auditorium. They have all the studies that have been done over the last few years, and they are looking at what grants are available. I think Office of Historic Preservation, was it, Peter?
Well, we looked at it.
OHP.
And I have to laugh. It looked like the wish list was about $2 or $3 million. Reality is, most we can get in the grant is about $650,000. So I said, I'll sit down with, get his name, and we'll trim that proposed down to what we think are.
Jackson
most important
and
items
Jason.
that has to go into the grant. Me personally, structurally, we need to do a lot of structural work, and that has to get done first.
If you can get me some of that information, we can start looking at it as a committee and seeing.
Well, that is the information right now, but I will definitely keep you.
We have the master
Right.
plan that we did a few years ago. We paid a lot of money for it.
Yeah.
It has,
Yeah.
I talked about that.
Yeah.
And they have that, they've got the structural analysis, they have all that.
yeah,
You know, in some way, you can't go by that message.
okay, that's out the window then?
It really is, because I had a bad experience with that architect,
Okay,
and so is he,
okay,
so.
I wasn't aware of that.
I wasn't either.
You,
Okay,
Babies were calling.
but that might be a starting point for,
It is, it's great.
Yeah.
It is.
yeah,
And there was also a planning grant. Applying for a planning grant for, I think it's plays. For the Shady Playground off Simpson.
Yes.
And a planning grant for a lakefront revitalization grant. That'll help clean up the lakefront. These are just planning grants to get estimates and.
There's a lot of grants, and they do a lot of grants. I said, is everybody using AI to write their grants today? He said, yes, everybody's using AI to write their grants.
That's a good first step. All right, so that's Parks and Rec. Now we can start the meeting. Under old business, we're over at Orient Park. Anyone want to fill in what we talked about over there?
I know the attorney wrote down some notes, but we discussed parking in and around Orient Park. We discussed potentially adding a spot on the paper street, which is 10th Street, and reclaiming the rest of the linear footage along Whitfield Avenue that is Orient Park right now. We also discussed on the other side of Whitfield Ave on the Alumni Hall side of 10th Street. Well, we were eventually going to do there with some disagreement about whether or not to put parking spot or clear it out and make it more of a
Pedestrian.
way. And I think that was about the sum of our discussions.
Cleaning up the asphalt by the
Fire
fire hydrant.
On the head, is that heading? Oh, no, what is that?
Heading or Whit,
Heading?
no, you're Whitfield. I don't know, I've only.
On the
been-
on the west side of Orient Park, the asphalt that's there, cleaning that up and reseeding it, turfing it.
Another way to look at it is we're gonna reclaim 2 spots in parkland, and we're going to add 2 spots in the area.
On Paper Street.
And 10th Street, once it gets cleaned out.
Yeah.
So we'll be in that 0.
Yeah, and it's in my opinion, it's a little bit more than that because there's the sort of the unauthorized spots where we have the cones right now that we're also gonna reseed and beautify and things like that. Yeah.
All right, pro-housing community under old business. Peter has gone through the records and believes that we qualify based on our housing stock growth, so the resolution will not be necessary. We will need a resolution of support for the New York Downtown Grant, which I happen to have here, and I will read it. Resolution by the Village of Round Lake Board of Trustees approving and endorsing Leah's Cakery in its application to New York State Home and Community Renewal for funding under the New York Downtown Grant Program. Whereas
Leah's Cakery.
okay, yeah. I'm doing this on the fly here, so forgive me. Whereas Leah's Cakery desires to apply for New York Downtown to apply for $450,000 financial assistance through the 2026 consolidated funding application under the New York Downtown Initiative, Whereas the application proposes funding to assist property owners to complete building renovations to downtown Main Street buildings on Main Street between First Street and Second Street. That should be Curry Ave, right?
Yeah.
Curry Ave. I'll give this to you, Susan, with my note. Whereas the proposed funding will contribute to ongoing community revitalization efforts, and whereas the grant application requires that the applicant obtain the approval and endorsement of the governing body of the municipality in which the project will be located. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Round Lake approves and endorses the 2026 New York Downtown grant for assistance prepared and to be submitted by the Village of Round Lake. Passed by the following.
Second.
Yeah, I just want to correct, we're the applicant, not the.
Okay. Okay. Because it says, okay, the first, so that should be. That should be Village of Round Lake too.
Okay. Yeah, I was confused about that because it's a public-private partnership that gets a little confusing.
So we're endorsing ourselves. That's okay. All right. That's how it needs to be written. Okay. All right.
Okay, so you,
I seconded.
I moved it, you seconded it?
Yeah.
Discussion, you made the corrections?
Is the village, this is just a straight grant to Leah's that the village endorses, or is the village committing to any?
There's might be a small amount, but they're researching whether it can be like in-kind
Okay.
contributions from the village.
Okay.
Any other discussion on it? Okay. Matt?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Yes. All righty. Next. All right, on to new business. Hose company contract. That was mailed to you a few days ago.
The company's happy with it, Greg's happy with it.
And I'll
Need
be,
a motion to approve the contract, right?
yes,
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the host company contract.
Second.
discussion? Matt,
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Yes. NYSEG easement. Tom, you requested a resolution on this?
Yes, because technically we're giving interest in lien, so the board has to. do
Okay.
that.
Something that we've done a number of times in the past. If somebody wants to run electric to land that's not contiguous to their property where their home is. In this case, it's Mr. Cullinan wants to run electric to his shed across the street. And received a request for electric service from I think it's pretty cut and dried, and so motion to
You asking for bids also?
NYSEG doesn't,
I know, but.
They don't do-
asking for
not
bids
in,
on-
not in this.
No,
Not in that.
No.
no, he was just asking for electric to the shed, and he said once he will submit a building permit upon being approved to get the electric, because one was contingent on the other.
So we're just approving the easement, where, and then the code enforcement officer and planning board and everything else takes all the other
Yep.
stuff from there, right? So. So I'll make a motion to approve, the easement, as stated across, what is that, Prospect?
Second.
Discussion? Matt,
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Yes. All right, now we're cooking. Carpe diem contract.
Do we have that printed out?
Yes.
I think you should have it in your,
Okay, I didn't have, I was looking in my file. My file's gotten.
Out of hand?
Yes, it has. Oh, here it is. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Okay.
right. We did have a request from Dan to add a paragraph that makes sense.
I can do that if you like.
I'm really organized, believe it or not. I did add it, I added it to the Lola Torch one, but I didn't add it to the Round Lake Auditorium one. So, Dan would like.
Contractor shall restore all stage lighting fixtures and associated wiring to the auditorium standard lighting plot locations except for stage lighting equipment that is agreed upon with the technical director and auditorium director. As used in this agreement, wiring shall meet power and data cables.
Yeah, I added it to the line where it says shall have a professional lighting and sound technician present. I can make it a separate. Separate. There's a line that says, I think you shall have a professional lighting and sound technician.
Yes, I see that.
So
We want to add that paragraph probably after that.
Yeah, you think it's a separate?
Yes.
I would have, but it was a
Yes.
PDF, so.
Yes, so I would insert that paragraph immediately after me. Yeah.
That's the system.
After.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Second page. Right after.
Yep.
Yep, right there. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve that contract with the amendment around the stage lighting fixtures.
I will second it.
Discussion?
I do have a question. Yeah. I thought last year we agreed as a board to charge more money for this year for the years moving forward. I thought last year we agreed to move the rental usage up to $300 per use for a non-for-profit. I was just wondering.
Yeah, I think that jump would be pretty exponential.
It's a big jump.
to do
Yeah,
like-
I don't remember.
I believe it was resolution 53 of last year.
I know we had discussed, and I don't have it in front of me, the exact resolution. I do know we had discussed potentially. And we have increased the rate over the year. I think, it's at one point they were paying me $2,000.
Yeah.
It has increased, but
The last change was Sharon changed it to uses.
Yes.
50.
yes,
Because I think her mindset was that to charge 300 for every use would be.
it's almost like a bulk, they're getting almost like a bulk discount because.
Right, yeah.
It's because of the.
So.
Because of the amount of.
I do think that there is an opportunity to increase the rate. I'm not sure we could do the jump to 300 this week.
Which I understand, so moving forward for next year, looking at the contracts and the prices we rent the facility out for is something that the auditorium committee is gonna be looking at with you.
Yeah.
I think the reason why we have this separate contract too is because, in part, because it is an extended use, right? So like, they're not doing 40 one-off uses, right? So there is, that is part and parcel of the reason why we have a separate contract, but certainly I think there's a room for.
Yeah.
Is this exactly what they paid last year? I can't remember.
It's
what they paid
It's
last
the
year.
rate they paid, they're.
Yeah.
Different number of uses.
Got it.
I do think though, looking at all of the rates across the board with the committee would be great. Since it's 2026 and everything's expensive. And the other thing too is relying on volunteers to help with tickets and parking and stuff. This is a conversation we've had, so I think upping the rates would be cool so that we can potentially staff without.
What do you recommend?
What do I recommend? I think we could probably pick a percentage rate, like maybe a percentage raise of the rates on our rental agreements.
Well, on our
Like
web,
a 50%.
I think like 15 to 20% across the board.
if you look at the website, we have preset rates, it is
Yeah,
preset rates for renting the auditorium.
But not for 40 uses.
Not
as of
for
that.
40
Yes,
uses,
right.
but I think we need to sit down and look at everything and
Yeah.
with a fine tooth comb. Including like ticket sales.
So-
Instead of necessarily raising the uses, maybe we could get a 50-50 split on ticket sales
Yeah.
to offset.
So one of the things Carpe Diem's done this year is they're actually selling specific seats, versus just selling capacity, because one of the concerns has been that, it's over capacity or overfilled, so they're selling specific number of seats, specific seats actually. So I think it's actually, it would be easier in terms of working with them going forward on a percentage like that. But I think that that's something for you all as an auditorium to look at. And what I would say is, and this is where we've got to get better at, and I think having this more robust committee discussion will make things better, is we have to have these things done sooner in advance for both parties, because
Correct.
it's not fair on either party to be doing things.
This contract should be essentially signed in
January
January.
1st, yeah.
January 1st, this contract
Yeah.
should be being signed for
Yeah,
this year.
exactly. So I would love for that to happen going forward, is, if and when they sign up for the 2027 season, we have these discussions and get.
So we're not talking about changing the numbers for this one.
Correct.
Correct.
Can you, anybody in the village comment on the contract?
Well, not right now.
But you're not gonna sign it, right, before people can comment on it, correct? I mean, I looked at it and said, this is a joke. I mean, they're paying $300 for the tent, it costs us $2,000 to put the tents up and down. We use it for one night, they use it for 5 weeks, we pay $1,700, they pay $300. Something's wrong
What do
here.
you mean?
Why are we
We're not,
supposed to
but
pay
we're
for
not
it?
paying, we're not paying it. We're putting it up for night of illumination. And then we take it down and we charge them for taking down. I worked out how much it cost. It's 4 guys, half a day to take the tent down and store it. And that's roughly, what did I say, $800 or something? So I would suggest that we, for the village tents, put that up to 800. That's just for taking it down at the end when they're
Would you
done.
like to change it for this year?
I would, yeah.
I think it's a good. Yeah.
And moving forward, that's something that the auditorium committee is gonna be looking at, is the auditorium for outside. Like village functions is one thing. But the auditorium shouldn't be constantly running at a net loss. It should be, the auditorium has ways, and there are ways to make more money, so that way we can improve the auditorium with the auditorium putting money into itself.
Yeah, I can show you from last year that we didn't have a net loss, mostly because we didn't have a lot of expenses, and then at the end of.
We're getting a little off track here because we're
But
talking about the
So for
contract
the
now.
tents, I just changed the fee to 400 for quantity of 2, so that the total is 800.
Oh, I see, okay.
I agree, we quoted them because they asked to put the tents up for May, and we gave them what it would normally cost.
Yeah, and I suggested that they get their own tents and they did.
Yeah, you should get it wrong.
Right.
It's like a bringing off the village.
Yeah, I think we're at a transition point where we had a lot of things where it was a summer thing, but now it's a theater production, and so it's to our advantage to have these meetings. I think Brady gives us dates in November every year, so
Yeah.
we'll be able to do this really well, so, but thank you. Yeah.
All right.
So take
um,
Well, I have to be honest with you, then.
What we,
You don't get started.
one thing I would just like to comment on this contract, just so that way it's public, is nobody is allowed to make physical changes to the auditorium without written consent of the board of trustees or its appointed designating the auditorium liaison. So,
That's in there.
and
That's been in there for years.
uh,
I don't know about the written, but without consent.
but we haven't been, but that hasn't been being followed.
But that's a separate issue. I mean, we're just talking about the contract right now.
But the auditorium liaison verbiage is in there, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is in there right now.
Cool.
I lost track. Where are we?
There's a motion to vote on.
Was there,
I,
Jay seconded?
yes,
Okay,
yes.
Yes.
yes. Alrighty. Body cam is on hold. We had a request for a body cam for, our parking enforcement guy, but I want to do a little more research on it. Nail down some of the costs associated with it before I present that. Next is the contract, the Lola Torch contract. You guys got copies of this? I had it.
So she reached out to me looking for housing for folks, and then Jake was just saying that he hasn't had a lot of openings at his home, so. I know that there's some legal considerations looking at through Airbnb.
It's not legal, it's not, he hasn't gone to the zoning board to get approval to run an Airbnb, so
He definitely did.
What?
He did.
He's-
I thought you had him on the next agenda.
That's for the public hearing part.
Right,
But
so he
it
hasn't
was provisionally, conditionally approved.
conditionally approved. Without trouble for him.
Rules of issue.
That's pretty good.
It was an audit service.
I thought he had a permit a couple of years ago.
Wait a second.
Oh, okay.
All right, we've gone from talking about Lola Torch's
Well, that's part.
contract
that's part of
to an
it.
Airbnb, so, okay, what's,
It's part.
It's part of it.
It's a home in the village that's available, and so, there's another home too, like when Holly's home is available, I've asked if she could house, organists.
That's
So,
what-
yeah, so I wasn't doing this through Airbnb, it's more of as a village resident, can people stay in your home? And then I'd like to give them payment for being able to house people. But if it doesn't feel good, we can just ask for a favor from.
We did that in the past with Anita Graff and her family when they did that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's however we decide we're gonna do it.
I'm just trying to see when this was.
So yeah, if we don't wanna help pay for housing for performers, anyone knows someone for 4 people to stay, that'd be great.
When was this contract circulated to the board?
Might not have been, I got it
Yeah,
yesterday or
okay,
today.
so I'm not gonna vote on this right now, because I haven't had a chance to read it.
I think the main thing, I think Gary's bringing it up because I just asked for advice on how to house organizations. So.
Yeah. I'm not willing to vote on this right now because I haven't had a chance to read it.
We're seeing,
Yeah,
I think the concept of this standard, so.
I can't vote on something I haven't read, so I'm sorry. Figure that out. I mean, if you want to take time at the end of the meeting, I'll give it some consideration. I'll read through it, but I'm not gonna read it through it on the spot. It's ridiculous.
Okay, let's table this till
Yeah.
the end. Next, approve changes to declaration and bylaws of Victorian Landings Homeowners Association. This is as Tom calls it, a housekeeping item. We've already done this, but
We approved the language back in October, November of last year. We looked at it again 2 months ago, but they need a specific formal resolution. And I've talked with the other side about this, and that language will do it.
all right, I will propose a motion, whereas on May 6th, 2026, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Round Lake adopted local law number 3 of 2026, which amended the Plan Development District legislation, being local law number 1 of 2009 as amended, for Victorian Landings Homeowners Association Incorporated. And whereas the declaration and bylaws for the association contain provisions which have become unnecessary and or contradictory in light of said amendment, and whereas the association has asked the Board of Trustees of the Village of Round Lake to approve changes to the declaration and bylaws for the association in order to make declaration and bylaws consistent with local law number 1 of 2009 as amended. Now, therefore, it is resolved that the amendments to the declaration and bylaws of the association as set forth in Schedule A to May 2026 notice of special meeting of townhomes at Victorian Landing Homeowners Association in the form annexed hereto and approved by the Board of Trustees. Don't make me read all this. Appendix A.
Second.
Second, okay, discussion? Matt?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Yes. And approval of minutes of May 2026.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of May 20th, 2026.
I don't recall anything untoward. Jason, you were here, right? You were?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was here, so.
Discussion? Matt?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Final public comment?
Something, I'll bring up now, that these got some like with the health insurance and the percentages of which are being extracted from the people who place the paychecks. If they give the current policy is 25%, it has not been adjusted in the system, that the employee pays 25% of their health insurance. It hasn't been adjusted in the system. I thought it was something that was calculated. And it's not, I have to adjust it every year. It hasn't been adjusted in probably 2 or 3 years. So there's going to be a problem if we were to adjust it now. The COLA adjustments for the pay raises for the year, it wouldn't be enough. They would actually reduce their paychecks. I feel like that policy needs to be revisited to see if we're gonna continue that percentage, and otherwise I might get lynched.
So can I just clarify what's going on here? Just hypothetical, premiums are, premiums were $4,000 a month. These are pure hypotheticals, so village was paying $3,000 and employee was paying $1,000. Now they're $5,000 a month, but the employee is still paying $1,000. It didn't adjust automatically.
Correct.
So it's not going up the 20. So now there's been a gap because it hasn't happened in 2 or 3 years. And if you were to make that adjustment now, it would go up a lot.
They're produced.
Okay. So you're requesting that we review the personnel policy to determine what the appropriate percentages should be for employees going forward. Can we circulate some materials on what the current costs are?
I can send you.
Yeah.
One of the bills.
Yeah, I know it's like, I know kind of roughly what the numbers are, and I know it's not cheap, so.
But just for perspective, I backed into the number, and when they were paying that percentage, it was $1,000, and now it's over 1,500.
Yeah, I could figure it, yeah, that's kind of what I figured the number would be, okay. There's a couple of other challenges that we're probably gonna have to work through with that too. So.
All right, so, we're just going.
Do we have executive session tonight?
I think so. Do we, Susan?
We don't.
No executive, okay. So we will look at the Lola torch. Anybody, public, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to talk about contracts again, but no. I just want to, from the village board, get a status on, we have 2 contracts for services for the auditorium. One is, this is good news, when David presented the auditorium budget to me in an email a few months ago, and broke out the personal service lines. We have an intern we want to bring in. She's a village resident, Molly Hurley. She's studying musical theater in college. This is her first year. She's a former Carpe Diem person. And what's good about this situation is one of the things that has been a challenge with Carpe Diem in the building during the day, at least on the technical side, there's no one there for oversight with the kids. She would be there, at least per the contract, at least 2 days, one for the younger kids, one for the older kids during the day, to mentor them on the technical lighting side and other pieces of that in the building. And I emailed 2 draft contracts out, one's for myself, one's for Molly, to Susan and David on May 26th. And I just want to make sure the board will keep moving this forward so we can have official contracts for services. I did draft these up, a little bit differently this year. So there are some stipulations in there, a little more specifics on the duties of myself and Molly Hurley, and how those payments should be rendered. So I just want to make sure the board will take action on those soon, since technically I've been working in the building since May 4th, supporting all the events, and I just want to make sure we keep this on target. I know Sue was helpful. I called her last week. They said, when's the next board meeting? June 17th. I said, I'll come. We'll talk about it and make sure that that moves forward. Gary, you want me to give you a copy of this, please?
Yep.
Bring this up here.
Thank you.
But at the same time, Greg, we've already put Molly Hurley on. You've got her as you talked to the other Molly about the intern.
Well,
And it's a 1099, you're doing it as a 1099 and not like an employee.
But I'm sorry, is that the cleaning person?
Yes.
Okay, this is.
Oh, no, I thought it was Molly Hurley. Okay, yours is,
This is a different person.
right.
no, Molly's, how many Mollys are there?
There's 2.
Molly,
Well, maybe there's 3, but I'm.
The cleaner, her cleaner's name is Allison.
Oh, okay.
oh, okay, is that who? Oh,
Yes.
okay, that one,
Thank
okay,
God.
all right,
I met her the other day. She's great. She's amazing.
sorry.
All right, so the quantities here fall within the budget that
That's correct.
David had X amount of dollars and divvied it up
Yeah.
the way you guys wanted.
What I decided to do is I gave back some of mine so Molly Hurley could have a higher compensation, because she's gonna be in that building during the day, at least twice a week. And she'll be with us the month of July, the month of August through September 4th, I believe it is the date. And the critical piece is that month of July when Carpe Diem is in there. So I just want to get this to her at some point so it's official. But that's what I drafted up for Tom to review legally with the language in there that I put in there.
Have you seen it? Have you seen it?
I sent it.
Oh, okay,
West.
yes.
The contract for Carpe Diem, I think it landed in my inbox maybe on Monday. The contract for Lola Torch appeared on the table today. We've got 2 contracts that have been handed in, although you haven't asked us to take action on them today. And we also need to post these before the meeting under the open meetings law. Can we have all documents that we're gonna be asked to act on by close of business on Wednesday before the meeting? Then that gives Susan Thursday to post them, because the office is closed on Friday and Monday is far too late.
Yes.
Wednesdays.
You say close the business on Monday,
On Wednesday.
on Wednesday,
Wednesday prior to the meeting.
Yes.
right, but that's 1 o'clock is when the office closes. Right, I'm just saying,
Yeah, then I agree with that.
All right, are we in public comment still?
One more negative thing.
Okay,
Last week or 2 weeks ago, one of Carpe Diem's people, one of their workers, broke into the auditorium with friends so he could show people where they work, where he's gonna work this summer. And that, I can't believe, you know, I wouldn't let that guy go into the auditorium again. It's up to you, David, and you wanna handle that, but he's breaking into the auditorium. He should be allowed in there.
You don't have to say anything now, you gotta.
And it's definitely, I mean, there's penny missing in the front door, and you could stick your arm up and pull the thing out, and he decided to fix
I
it.
think somebody put the pain back.
It's in that.
The thing is in right now is that during the open mic, Mike and everyone else cut pieces out, and the screw actually being done, did in on that. So, that was covered up. Yeah, I'll piggyback on that, because this is another thing, I hate keep bringing it back to the same thing, but this has got, all this stuff has to be addressed. Two part team, I know, I'm gonna say, as far as part team goes, they should be letting their kids know also, this is you can't just bust into the building. And I hate to blame on cart teams, because I mean, there's kids getting into the building, but I think that's got something that should definitely be addressed. I do have something extra on top of that stuff. I'm doing a couple of history tours this year. I went through the Schenectady stockade. We did it last year. It sold out too. We did two tours in one day. I think we had 65 people. There's two separate slots. It should be on their website. We split the cost on that. We had the Hudson Valley Walkers coming in on the 24th of September. I'm going to have organs playing that day. I've also looked on Carpet's website and saw that there's some kind of production going on in September. I don't see anything on the calendar. I've already told Sue that I'm planning that event, so I'm hoping that it's not gonna be some kind of a stage where I won't be able to see the organ.
You saw it online, covered you, let's say?
Yes, it's on their website.
Okay. Yeah, he thought about doing a fall program, but I think it's a different venue. But I'll double check.
Yeah, would you please?
Yeah.
All right,
This is something I wanna make sure that they don't collide into.
all righty. So at this point, we're just going to be looking at Lola Torch contract, and so feel free to leave or stay, whichever you wish. Jeopardy's already over, so. The evening shot, yes, it does. Thank you all.
Guys.
Yes, please.
So if you go out here, the ceiling having fire reserve, that's how much you have in there. You come back here and you'll see that. Fire reserve.
Take that, get everything aligned.
And on the other side of that. Well, you really see.
Yep.
I noticed that there.
Yeah.
The general one will match. So, but you would be able to see the numbers, you can see it right out.
Thank you, Gary, sorry, I was gonna thank Peter too. You didn't set a follow-up for us for everything,
Yeah.
but I will be reaching out, because I think at this point it might be more me with the grant writer.
Jackson.
Yeah, but
Awesome. Thank you.
I just felt uncomfortable leaving without a meeting scheduled, because I like to.
Yeah.
So if you're here for me, that's just a date request.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so can I?
Hey, folks, hello. It's late. I want to go home. Grandchildren are there.
Are they?
Up at 5 this morning with them. Yes, I'm a little run ragged. Yes, sir.
No.
No, you can stay.
But you're what? We're just discussing his contracts.
We get a donation.
It's so.
What I want to understand is the why behind the contract. So because, and what's the thing with the less round lake home? What is the?
So
Can I get a little history first?
Yeah, that's what I want. I want
Okay.
context, yes.
In the past, when Anita Graff and her family came, she's a cellist, and the Comishes had a lovely presentation and their front porch.
Yeah,
We paid for, I'm pretty sure, I'm 90% sure this is correct. That we, as part of their contract, we covered them in a motel or hotel or something. As part of their package coming in.
okay,
So this isn't unprecedented. I
okay.
mean, we do need to get this stuff quicker so that we can look at it
Yeah, I
a
think
little.
that asking from Lola a little bit.
Yeah.
What's the paper lantern home in Round Lake? What is that?
So that's the name that she had been listed on Airbnb.
Okay.
So that's actually a link to look at it on. computers.
Okay. Okay, so,
So
okay, go ahead, Jason.
how much do we stand to make off of this contract?
It's like there.
Says
So
basically
the projected is if we sell 100 tickets,
about
which,
$5.
which we've already sold like 25 online, which means we'll probably sell about 100 tickets, so.
Okay,
We'll make it about that.
So we do the ticket split after the support of housing the guests.
So, where, does Jake have a permit to run his Airbnb?
I think Lori, who's the chair of the
Yeah.
zoning board, said yes.
He,
I mean, I know he had one because my daughter's friend stayed there for a wedding shower. He's had it there for 3 years, so it's just a matter of him getting the paperwork to renew.
and in this, the way this contract operates, we're paying Jake.
I was imagining we would write a check rather than pay through Airbnb.
We would pay Jake directly.
Yeah, so
So this is where my concern is
Yeah.
as a board member is if there's, we have passed legislation restricting short-term rentals and, whether or not Jake is fully above board with it, I'm not 100% certain. There seems to be some, it's in the pipeline, maybes and ifs. And, the optics of the village cutting a check to somebody that's operating ostensibly, potentially an illegal operation, doesn't sit well with me. And so that's my challenge. What I would rather see is, us cut a check to Lola that then she could go do whatever she wants with the revenue.
let's do it that way.
And I think
Cleaner.
that's the cleaner way to do it.
I like
And,
that.
and that way it's sorted out in the background, and I'm not having to sign a document authorizing the payment of somebody that's operating something that's not in compliance with village law.
Yeah, so why don't we, do we wanna just say $500 and then they can use that however.
$500 housing stipend.
Yeah,
yep, I
because
was
then
then,
with the breakout of my projection, I think then the auditorium makes money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so instead of us just writing her a blank $500 check, it
Yeah.
should be in the loop, it should be. That value shouldn't be there unless the tickets sell. Say if only 20 tickets sell, period, we shouldn't just be blankly writing that.
So we do have, in our budget, we do have a line item for performing artists, so
Yeah.
that's where I was pulling that $1,000 from.
We've done this before.
Okay,
Yeah.
So I feel okay fronting essentially $1,500.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna share the ticket split on top, so the auditorium will make money on the.
I think that's fine. And historically, the auditorium's actually lost money on performers before too, and we've run that as a community
Yeah.
benefit, and we've been okay with that.
We paid 3,000 to performers and we've only brought in $800.
Yeah.
So.
which I understand that's always a risk of if we're grabbing the performer.
Yeah, so I price when we pay them based on, like, I never assume we're gonna sell 300 tickets. Like 300 tickets would be amazing, but the reality is we only really sell 125 tickets at the most. So
So,
we do some serious marketing.
yeah, so we're gonna issue her $1,000 guarantee, a $500 rooming stipend, and 50% of the remaining share of the revenue.
After I reconcile
That's,
those.
yeah, and so, I mean, we're gonna have to mark this up live on the spot, and again, this is like, I know this is absolute last second, I'm not particularly thrilled about doing it this way, but I know this is the way we got no real alternative.
Yeah, I think I would like to get all these contracts done sooner. I've kind of been operating out of the way we've done it in the past, where I have a budget and I write the contracts from that without.
Yeah,
Bringing them to the board, but I'm happy to present them to the board as a new way of doing the things for the auditorium and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, anything that's, I mean, if it's within line with what our current auditorium policy is, then you don't need board authorization on it, but then you're going above and beyond because we're providing a stipend, which is not in the auditorium policy, so it does require board sign off, in which case, if we're going to do something like that, we need ample time to review it and to provide feedback.
I mean, we could change the verbiage of the contract and I can just take the stipend for housing and it could just be a $1,500 guarantee.
Yeah, that's fine too.
Not even call it the housing
We
stipend.
could just do $1,500 and
That's
tell Lola that we decided that an extra $500 would be to help her.
Yeah,
House her.
that's fine.
her earnings.
If they want to camp in their backyard, in Diane's backyard, they
We're in
keep them.
time too, where Tom has been asking for help with travel and stuff like that, and 30 years ago when he would come, he didn't get paid at all. And so now, like, Sharon has started to pay organists, and then I think we're just at a moment with the whole auditorium in general where we don't really think about how we're bringing artists to this.
Good thing we have a committee.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I hope you're ready to come to all meetings.
So strike.
If I can't report from you, I can come to as many as I can.
Well, we're
I
gonna
just
have
have
to figure out a time in which me and you can spend.
Quality time.
Yeah,
Whole lot of
I
quality.
think like quarterly I definitely do, but I couldn't do anything. I'm on touring, just. Look at calendar.
You guys can hash that out amongst yourselves after the meeting's over.
Yeah.
So we're gonna change guarantee to 1,500. We're striking Round Lake Home. We're striking the thing around the expenses. Everything else stays the same.
Well,
Anything else, Tom?
these additional terms, the venue will handle all ticketing, box office operations, and front of house staffing. Does, the venue hasn't been defined, does that mean the village is going to do it, or
So
the?
I think if you read past that, I could actually take out those bullets. Because that was essentially a list of things that we can provide as an auditorium. So the details are actually on the subsequent page, which is the same contract that we use for all performing.
I know we put together a standard contract.
And that's what
this
page
is?
2. Yep. So I think for clarity, I'll just remove a lot of it, because this was really for me to send to Greg and Gary to get thoughts on. So I think we can just scratch this out.
Okay, very good,
Yep, and then the expenses also, we can scratch that out.
okay, very good.
And we'll just, instead of this, we're just gonna make this a 1,500, so you can scratch that out and that's 1,500.
So
So
the
there,
village is paying 1,500 and
50% of the remaining.
we get 50%, whether it's $5 or $5,000.
Yeah, it'll be, it's the 50%, I think, after.
50% less, yeah, gross revenue less $1,500, 50% of
Right,
that.
yeah, and we've already made about $700 on online tickets. So bumping the ticket price up to $25 has helped a lot with making money too, so.
Okay.
Which is gonna be a pain to give out change, but.
Yeah.
I made it $20 last year because everyone was fun. So doing 20.
We're doing books at $25. I
Yeah.
know how you feel.
Yeah, but a lot of people too are bringing their card and the chip reader or with the tap to pay, so. Which we have Eric Leach donated a chip reader for me, so thanks, Amy.
Oh.
She's still taking care of this.
So yeah, we have a $1,500 guarantee, we're getting rid of additional terms, we're getting rid of expenses. Emily Marchand, what address is she using?
She just filled out a W-9, so I could give it to you, and then she just emailed.
Okay, why don't you get that to me, because I think if we're gonna approve this, it needs to be approved with the changes that we discussed tonight, in a form approved by the village attorney. And
I think
at
Marchand's.
that time when we,
Yeah.
regenerate the document.
MAR.
MA.
Can you send me the document? Do we have it in-
Oh, it's just spelled wrong.
Yeah.
That gets sent over by email.
Right. Bummer with spell check.
This is an email.
Yeah, I think so.
Just check.
Can you send this to me in Word form so that I
Yeah.
can make the
Right.
changes?
Yeah,
And then I can circulate to that to the board,
Well,
And
can
then
they
you're-
authorize me to sign it tonight?
This has,
Actually, do I
You
even
can't
need, I don't even need,
it tonight. But we'll have to make the changes after the fact.
do I even need to sign this
No, I
stuff?
can
Is the
sign-
question?
I can say
I
that.
thought he was
Yeah.
It's one
authorized
or
to
the
sign
other,
it.
right?
Good.
Yeah, the main reason I sent it to you and Greg was figure out how to pay for helping them get housing.
Maybe we can get this done tomorrow.
That'd be great. Yeah, and I guess I'll forward you the W-9 too, if it's helpful.
so just to clarify, and I'm not familiar with our, would have to read our current policies. The auditorium director is authorized to draft, to enter into contracts,
Sign process.
sign, but the board has to authorize any. This is a specific contract for specific artists. Like
Yes.
work, the board has to authorize these terms, correct, or no? That's where I-
With the modifications to this, I don't think the board needs to authorize anything.
Okay,
Do we?
Put it back to our standard.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so crisis
All
averted.
right, those are.
Yeah.
We'll work it out and then, as signed, we'll circulate that so the board members have it for their, records.
Yeah.
Okay, Susan, you can have them too.
Pardon me?
You can have a signed copy too.
Okay.
It's quite the meeting. Were you gonna say something or
No,
you passed out?
yep. We don't need an executive session.
Right here. Is that anything for
Yeah,
Peter's rant?
Exactly.
do we need one? Do we have one? No?
Yes.
Okay, all right, okay.
Somebody,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye. Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Steven, what's?
Yeah, that's your channel.
Yes, it's up to you.
Yes. Yeah.
If you think it's in the way.
We don't have an.
Yeah. Well, it's something for your.